Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2026. This is going to be kind of a review episode like I did last year. I listened back to my 2025 income source and review kind of the year. And there was a few things that I did not do that I said I was going to do, but there was a lot of things that I did do. And so this year, one of the biggest wins is that I had local sessions. That percentage go way up, which was my main goal for 2025, because I had in 2024 still been driving a ton. And so that was very good to see in the numbers that, yes, I did accomplish staying a little bit closer to home. Just not because I don't love the adventure sessions, I do. It was just that they were taking up a lot of time. And that's fine, but I wanted to see if I could build out the business in a more local way just for my own sanity. And I did. So that's the main win that I had for this year. I hit my income goal. Everything kind of went off the way I wanted it to. The only thing that I really sucked at was studio sessions. So I'm trying to decide what it is that's hard for me, because I have a studio and it is beautiful. And I'm rarely in there. And so I know that I need to implement, and I have on my list this week to have an ad going out that's just to local people about a specific type of shoot in the studio, and just start testing that. The other thing I'm testing in the beginning of this year for myself and for others is a Pinterest ad. So I will report back on how that one's doing. It was really interesting because they have you set your range by zip code. And you can put 250 zip codes in there. And I was like, how the hell am I going to find 250 zip codes? Well, that is something that the robots did help me with. I'm trying not to have them help me with that much, but a list of zip codes, yes, please. That made the whole process way easier. Okay, so we're going to talk about some big wins, some client behavior, some pivot moments, and some workflow things that really helped me in 2025. So the most successful package for me this year switched from being in 2024 or 2024. It was the midway, which was great because I was slowly trying to pull my sessions back from the far, far away mountains and do those more strategically, and have midway. Those are the sessions where they're not local in my town, but they're in a very beautiful place that's within a 2-hour drive. So those were the top, and this year more local sessions were the top. So my local session, especially with the addition of senior sessions, became top for me, and my amount of driving went down quite a bit, which was my goal. So it's funny how we're all going to have different goals, right? My income goal was reached, and I was never particularly worried about reaching my income goal, but I feel like I made more money per session because I was using my time better. Okay, so then in terms of client behavior, I feel like I had hardly any navy, the color navy, which is something that I've just noticed when people wear navy and jeans to my sessions, it makes them blend with the background. And I thought, what if I could just do a little experiment here and try to have people not wear that color? Often because what mom wants to wear kind of almost clashes with navy a lot. And also the way I edit kind of turns navy darker. It almost looks black. So one of my goals for 2025 was to try to get hardly anyone to show up in navy. I don't mind if there's one navy piece throughout, but the navy shirt and the blue jeans was the go-to Pacific Northwest dad uniform. And I was just so over it because I feel like it cooled everything way down in terms of color in the styling. And I feel like I was very successful in that. I had hardly anyone show up in navy. And then I did have a client and they showed up and she was like, I'm sorry, this is his favorite outfit. I couldn't get him to wear anything else. And it was that. And I could tell she was like, grr, but I was like, it's fine. I'm not going to kick you out of my brand. It's just, he just looks like a little ocean walking around at the beach. So that's what we're trying to avoid. Okay, so then the next question was there sort of a pivot moment, something that was no longer serving the business, and so you moved away from that? And I think what it was just really a marketing thing of trying things marketing wise for too little amount of time. So I was just trying things for like a few weeks. And then if they didn't hit, I would have like an existential crisis and then be like, okay, well, your idea was crap. And instead, what I should have done is just given it more time, which is what I'm doing this year. I'm committing to whatever marketing I'm doing. I'm committing to 6 weeks worth. And that's what I'm telling my marketing membership students. And I also have been starting up my one-on-ones, which I absolutely love. That I had the first one the other day and I have more coming next week. And in the first one, I mean, we talked about so much, defining her offer for her multiple offers for the year, how she needs to revamp her homepage, how she needs to be more clear and more bold, separating out 2 of her offers probably onto 2 separate websites just to create authority. And that was just call 1 of 3. And so I'm really excited about those. If you want one, snag one. They're $600 for 3 calls for the marketing membership students. And if you're not in the membership, it's $750 for the 3 calls. But for 3 calls, 3 one-hour calls inside a coaching portal where I can put PDFs or other helpful information, I just feel like it's a total steal. And I forgot how much I love teaching one-on-one. Okay, so then inside of my marketing students world, what happened to them? I tried to go through and find all the trends. So what failed people in 2025 was continuing to think that they could just willy-nilly post on Instagram and have that be an actual marketing strategy. And it became, even though a lot of times it was pulling teeth, moving to a more strategic booking path. So within the membership, we focus on booking paths, choosing 2 or 3 booking paths that are either, social media is one booking path, but social media as a booking path is strategic. It is not just posting whatever you want. There's also an email booking path. There's an ad booking path. There's different ways to think about marketing as strategy. So it was really getting people to get on board with that instead of just doing what we thought worked in 2018. I feel like a lot of us got really, really stuck over the past 5 years about what actually works and what doesn't. The number one roadblock for everyone within marketing was just deciding to not be overwhelmed. And I phrase it that way specifically because overwhelm is a choice, whether or not you want to believe it. Many of us have overwhelming lives. The world right now is overwhelming, and we don't have control over the fact that things are busy and there's a lot going on and there's a million news headlines every day. We don't have control over that, but we do have control over whether or not we view our marketing as overwhelming. And so trying to get people to see that it's not particularly overwhelming, and the amount of time that it takes, your majority of family photographers are already spending just endlessly scrolling on social media. So it's about not waiting for motivation and just consistently doing marketing tasks. And when you have just one marketing task to do within the hour, that's not overwhelming. You just have to decide to do it. Platform performance, I would say that majority of people have found that they're doing better with email. That's been huge feedback that I've had from marketing members where they've actually started to treat their email list as a strategic marketing tool instead of just a seasonal update. So that's been really helpful because those people have been past clients of yours. So the trust is really high, but I think we're missing out on communicating with them in a way that's helpful, that centers you as a local guide, that actually provides value beyond just telling them what your availability is. And so I think in terms of aha moments, most of those came from photographers in the marketing membership switching to an easier booking system, which is a huge passion of mine. So we went from back and forth to clear homepage, clear info pages, everything you'd want to know, high trust websites paired with online booking, or at least a simpler booking process, was a big aha moment for people because they got so much time and energy back. Okay, so the question always is, do I use the same strategies as the things that I teach? So the main area that I do not use strategically, you're going to know what it is. You can probably say it if you've been a long-time listener, is that I do not communicate with my past clients via email because I feel like that would be cheating and I would completely lose sight of how hard this is, and I want to kind of be in the trenches with everyone. That said, I want everyone else to be utilizing email, and inside the membership, we talk about that. that's a whole booking path. So whether it's coming up with a lead magnet for local moms and creating an email list that way, or just nurturing your existing email list in a really good way, that's one thing that I don't do that you should do. And I'm jealous of people who are like, okay, this is who I'm jealous of in the family photographer world. You have 1 or 2 offers. You're super streamlined in what you offer. You're not offering everything under the sun like me. And you are able to email your clients. I feel like if you have those 2 things going, you can grow a lot faster than, and that's not to say that people who have lots of offers aren't going to grow. It just takes more energy because every offer needs a trust building path. And so the more offers you have, the more trust building paths you must create. So you kind of become an architect of path building, as opposed to you have one offer, you have one path, you have one marketing strategy. So if you're looking for, if you hated the past 5 years because you felt like you were just all over the place and you were in a burn it down moment, my advice would be to switch to one offer for the foreseeable future and just hyper focus on that. If you're a family photographer, you could hyper focus on maternity because that will often lead to newborn sessions and family sessions. But if you're just marketing maternity, you will have new people at the beginning of building their family coming into your brand. That's an example of that. So let's talk about what I think will happen in 2026 beyond robots taking over the world. Just kidding, but maybe that might happen. Okay, so in terms of Instagram, okay, so I don't know if you guys saw that post that Adam Mosseri guy put out about Instagram that's like so weird because it's like, our app is sort of trash, but we don't know how to fix it. We're like, just show the things to the people who follow you. Like, the answer is right in front of your face, Adam, but he won't do it. So he talks about AI slop and how it's going to be really hard to tell if things are real. And it's not even helpful or very optimistic really for its own app. But what they have done well that we can lean into is search optimization, using keywords and talking about your location specifically, and using that place as a platform to be a local specialist. So we know that the grid does not matter as much as we thought it was. If you're still stuck in grid jail in terms of grid indecision, just move away from that. I think if you have enough followers, you should have a broadcast channel that talks about what's coming up, and you can have clients and past clients who are in there who get first dibs on things, just like an email list. So that's how you can kind of think about it. We're moving away from this posed grid to showing the feeling, bringing people along, being something that people can tune into, right? And that's very similar going to number 2, TikTok. I don't see a lot of photographers in my membership using TikTok, but I encourage everyone to have TikTok. I mean, I really think if nothing else, just post whatever you post on Instagram for now on TikTok, just so you can start building on there. Mainly because I do worry with this next generation, which I've talked about before. Many of them do not look at Instagram at all beyond stories. So they're not scrolling on Instagram like the next generation of people. So we're still safe kind of for right now. But I feel like if we need to differentiate, if you're doing social media, TikTok is a good place to build, just because the algorithm is a little bit better. However, it's going to be the same thing as Instagram, where it has to be strategy. You have to figure out how you are showing up on there, and it's probably not going to work to just solely showcase beautiful photos. It definitely can work, but it needs to be hyper local. So that's kind of the way to think about social media. Is it just has to be seasonally strategic. That's your focus, is what am I trying to book this season? How am I talking about it? How am I showing up? Break that down into actual doable tasks that you choose not to be overwhelmed by and just accomplish every single week. Okay, so Facebook is really just about ads for me right now. Everything pretty much that I show on Instagram automatically goes to my Facebook page, but I'm not putting energy per se into my Facebook presence, but I am using ads. And so again, that's something where there's a separate ads course for family photographers that I have that's like in the ecosystem of marketing. And then we talk about ads a little bit inside the membership, but it's too meaty for everyone to be on the same page. So the members get a discount on the Facebook ads course, and then you can learn Facebook ads. And then I talk about it as one of the booking paths within the membership. What's changed with Facebook ads is Andromeda. Basically, all the targeting is out the window. It goes off of what your image is and what your copy says, and that is how your targeting is done, which has made it both easier and harder because your copy has to be really clear and good, and it takes a while for it to get going. It takes longer for it to figure out who it's talking to, and it is frustrating in the beginning to watch it ignore everything you tried to target, because it does. Okay, so email, again, we're coming off as helpful, shareable. The idea would be like, how can you create an email list that moms could share with other moms? That would be the energy that's actually going to build a high trust email list. That will take time, that will take energy, but I would rather see you build that strategy than randomly posting on Instagram. If we're talking about it, if not that, then this. I would rather you do that because Instagram is just so global. It's so hard for local businesses to catch on unless you have a local driven strategy. Okay, collaboration. So like, people are craving community. They're craving being around each other. And so if you don't have something in your town that you can join, like I'm a member of my Chamber of Commerce, and then I also like to go to one event a month that's like networking related. If you are in a small town or you haven't found anything that works for you, just create your own group that meets once a month that talks about supporting each other. It would be great if you guys were all in industries that serve the same group of people. But even if it's just other business-minded people or whatever, even a group of moms that you talk to about something or whatever, it's so important that you are creating or involved in some sort of community in your town, because it goes back to what we always talk about, that you're not winning if family photographers in New York, if you're based in California, know who you are, but the mom down the street does not know about your business. The goal for 2026 is to become the go-to person in your town for your type of session. If you think about marketing through that lens, it will open up your mind to think about how to get the attention and visibility of local people instead of chasing the attention and visibility of photographers all over the world. This means do not, under any circumstance, join one of those freaking engagement groups. They do nothing. It doesn't matter if people are writing fake comments underneath your post just because they have to. It's confusing the stupid algorithm that's already confused. It's all about ego. There's no point in doing it. I see so much time wasted in these groups. So many of the people that benefit from them are serving family photographers, and that is why they start those groups, and that is why they continue to say they're a good marketing technique, because it would be a really smart marketing technique for me, who's trying to help family photographers, to create a loop where I have a bunch of other family photographers commenting on my post. But if that is taking up any bandwidth and you have no goal in teaching other family photographers, don't fall for it in the guise of community. Sorry, this is kind of a rant. Focus on local people seeing your stuff. There is no reason to be in competition with other people in this industry for views or quote unquote community, which is so often not community. It's just the person hiding out in the center is some sort of spy who's actually trying to sell you something. So I just don't want any more time wasted. We all have precious amounts of time. And if you were going to put it towards marketing, do not waste time in community, quote unquote, with other photographers, unless you have your comparison fixed and you're booked out. And I know that may seem harsh, but for the vast majority of photographers, they are wasting so much time worrying about being in community, building relationships, and then finding themselves deep in comparison with other photographers. If you have a local buddy or someone that you talk to, a very small group online who are close friends, and you don't have the comparison feeling with them, that's not what I'm talking about. I know that those of you who are listening know what I'm talking about. Maybe you're in a group chat, maybe you're in an Instagram DM group where you're constantly just feeling like you're not good enough, that you don't quite produce that caliber of work. You're never going to get these amazingly dressed, run around at the most ugly background but somehow make it look beautiful type of shoot. If you are feeling that, release it for 2026. I would rather have you be in non-community because that community wasn't actually helpful and just solely focusing on your own and finding community in your town than drowning in these photography groups and DMs and loops. Just get out of there. I'm telling you, unless you have a mind of steel, it's messing with you. It's messing with your perception of yourself. It's messing with your ability to create the way that you want. It's messing with your ability to create your own unique ideas, which will free up once you stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Okay, so I hope this was kind of helpful. Inside the marketing membership, we just did a vision boarding class, and I'm encouraging people to put their vision boards into the chat. I created mine. I set my income goal for what I want for just photography income, and I put it on the board. I talked a lot about that, about being more open about income, even within my own family, like trying to help my girls understand that this sort of income as a creative professional is attainable and doable, but you live with me, so you know what the workload looks like. I'm just trying to be more open and honest, mainly because I want to continue to do this work for a long time. And so I don't want to keep parts of it hidden in fear of judgment or that I shouldn't be talking about it or whatever. So we also have a monthly money call in the membership where we talk about, are you meeting your financial goals for this month? What else do you need to do? And so that's a huge part of 2026. What's changing is that I just want to have more open and honest money conversations, because when I asked in the broadcast channel that I have on Instagram, what's your number one fear for 2026? Every single answer was that they weren't going to get enough bookings, which makes sense. But if that is your number one fear, what is it that you're doing to help yourself be ending 2026 saying, hey, look at that, I actually did get the number of bookings that I wanted and I did hit my income goal. We have a vast runway out in front of us to be able to accomplish those goals, but I know that sometimes it can be hard to do it alone. So if you don't want to do it alone, join the little Memby. It's literally $35 a month. Someone joined yesterday and they messaged me and they're like, are you sure that you want to have every single training that you've ever done available for this price point? Because at this point, since we've been doing it since April, there's so much in the membership, and every single month it just grows and grows and grows. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good 2026. Also, we have Design Your Year happening on Monday. I'll put a link in the show notes to attend. It's basically just setting goals and intentions for each season of 2026 and talking about marketing strategies to go along with those. All right, have a good day.